O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new Integra. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our Grand Bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Miami Dolphins fans, time to rock out with another Dolphins pregame show.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed. No.
The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
The Dolphins may have lost, but I took them plus 4.5, plus 5.5, and plus 6.5. So I won. Well, what can I tell you? It is what it is. Thank you, Hialeah Park and the Hard Rock app. And, it's how it goes. Unfortunately, it's kind of a situation. They had their chances. But, it's kind of like the shell game that Sean was just playing with you, the open, and then kind of oh, wait a minute, we're going back to the open. That's kind of what it is. We kind of like we're saving Darren Waller for like at the end of the game. It's a secret weapon. It's kind of what we do. No, this week what we'll do is, since we couldn't get him the ball in the second half, we won't get him the ball at all the entire game, and then we'll wait to use him at the end of the game. Why not? I mean, that's exactly how I wanted to look at the end of the game. Darren Waller receiving, 2 receptions, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, I need to see that Julian Hill got more targets than Darren Waller. I mean, or catches, it is. I'm just... well, you wanted the reports were that the Ross family is not going to act if there wasn't empty seats. Well, you have plenty of empty seats. You have more losing. They're 1-5. This was a lifeless offense. I don't know. You tell me. When is this sorry ass owner actually going to do something? That's what I want to know. When is this sorry-ass owner going to do something, dude? Again, this is another one of those winnable games, just like last year. Last year, you should have won 3 to 5 more games. You can't blame the talent. It's the coaching that can't maximize the talent, and they just don't know how to win. I mean, it's just these are things. And then your players. Jalen Phillips, my brother, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for you. You're a fantastic young man. We all know that. You've been through some tough times with the injuries. Bubba, you got it. That's your moment. You got to make that play. You got to tackle the guy right there and then. And what do? You fold. And this is the kind of shit that goes on all over the whole game. Tua threw a terrible interception. Of course, it was a terrible offense and all that. H-end to the left, H-end to the right, H-end in the middle. I mean, whatever. It's just there's no creativity. Why put Darren Waller in there? That would only be somebody else that would attract attention and open it up for others. This is a stupid man that we have running the football team. And and by the way, while Stephen Ross is a genius in real estate, he is incredibly stupid when it comes to football because he continues to watch how Mike McDaniel cannot coach, and he keeps him there, and he doesn't make any changes whatsoever. And you keep hanging on, and you keep hanging on, and it's just, it's garbage. It's just garbage. I don't care that I made some dollars. Yeah, I bet on the Dolphins, and I actually thought they would even win today. It's crazy. And I kept doubling my bet. The 4.5, I doubled it to 5.5. Then I doubled to 6.5. And it's like, okay, well, then I was like, wow, I got a 6.5. Then they fell by 10. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But they came back and, okay, but just watching, you had this game. You could have won it. Your defense doesn't show up again. It allows another unknown back to get 100 yards. It's just, man. I told you it would be bad. Wow. We said that McDaniel won't make it past week 10, right? That he'll be fired by week 10. That was my thing. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens because you're 6 weeks in now. And it clearly shows that you're not getting any better at all, whatsoever. Just insane, dude. Insane. Crazy stuff. And I apologize for all of you out there as Dolphin fans that you have to suffer through all of this. Just a ton of incompetence. You know, you finally get back into the game, you drive back, you have a chance to win the game, and your special teams shits the bed, gives them a 40-yard line start, which makes it much more easy. And then your guys can't make a couple of plays to actually stop the offense. Can't tackle guys. They're out in the open field. It's just ridiculous. You have a chance to tackle the quarterback, and he gets right out of your hands. And this is the stuff that, unfortunately, this is how you're measured. Jalen Phillips. Jalen Waddle. Even the great, that phenomenal catch that he hung on to, it was a disaster of a play that he had to finally hang on to it. And including the drop he had that's turned into an interception right away. And points, I think that turned into points also right away. It's a comedy of errors, and it doesn't matter who it is. Jonas Savaiinaea is like a turnstile. You know, he is playing exactly like Jesse Davis. And that this is the sad part right now, that it's just a comedy of errors all over the place. If it's not one person, it's another, because there's no discipline on this team. And because the top guy doesn't have discipline, the rest of your team will never show it, and they'll continue to be a comedy of errors. And that's what we saw. Everybody contributed to the loss today. Everybody had an opportunity to make it a win. Waddle catches that ball to start the game. Okay. There's no turnover, doesn't lead to points. Tua doesn't turn that ball over, no points. Jalen Phillips makes that sack. Maybe you win the game. It just goes on, and we can all talk about different little things that went on in the game that just kills it. Just absolutely. And then I don't even want to talk about McDaniel's play calling, which is just an absolute disaster to watch. Just a crazy disaster to watch. I don't get it, dude. I really don't get what goes on here. And you have plenty of empty seats. I'm not sure what. I know they make money no matter what, but at one point or another, you have to understand that this is not going to work. And you've got to start with the changes, whatever it is. At least for now, you can make one change, and that's the head coach. At least for now. Then you can decide down the line at the proper time for all the other ones. But the proper time right now is for the Miami Dolphins not to deal with Mike McDaniel. Has Mike McDaniel gone to the podium? No? Okay. All right. At least they're home, and he's got his own car. He can go home in. That would be good. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and we always encourage Cash App or Venmo because we get 100% of the donation. We love the super chats, but YouTube takes away 30%. Those bastards, how much money they make. Anyway, let me go to Venmo here real quick. Pink Sir, Adam, thank you, sir. Oh, this loss stings, but it also is just a symptom of what's been going on with this team for the past 25 years. Amen. Considering the lack of talent on defense, I thought Miami did the best they could, and I'm sorry. Herbert is still a mediocre QB. I will die on that. Yeah, he's not. He is a physically beautiful talent, but he plays small. He's always played small, dude. When you watch other guys built like him, May plays with The guy in our division plays with more balls than he does. Obviously, the guy Josh Allen does. But I'd rather have the New England kid with the kind of fire that he plays with compared to this guy. I'm with you all the way. I've never bought Herbert. Yeah, everybody gets in love with the talent, but when you look at the player himself, he's really not that. His production doesn't match his physique, his ability, and all of that. I'm with you all the way. Joe Cracchiola on Venmo, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. It goes, Big O, I have no words. Everyone is the problem on this team, including Tua, Hill. Clean house now. Love the show. Exactly. And I get it. I get it, dude. I get all of you want to just clean house. Anthony Lizzie, I knew the moment they scored that they would give up the field goal. A collapse as usual. I want it blown up. So I'm not too unhappy about it. And that's where our fans are torn, that it's one of those where, oh yeah, I don't care if they lost because, hey, we get a better draft pick. That's kind of the way the fan base is thinking right now, unfortunately. Lenny the Locksmith, thank you, sir. Dade through Palm Beach counties. Call my guy, Lenny the Locksmith. He says, he goes, are they firing this bum or not? And he's talking about McDaniel. I would love to see it, Lenny. I would love to see them fire him, but what can I tell you, my brother? Let's get to the super chats real quick here, Sean. What do we got here? Mike No-Go Zones. Are you ready to pull to? That doesn't matter to me. That's not going to save you, dude. All you're going to do is get a third-string quarterback killed behind that offensive line. It's not like Jonas Savaiinaea is going to block any better. The quarterback's not saving us. If you can't win, if Jalen Phillips can't make that tackle, you don't win. And if Jalen Waddle can't make a catch for any quarterback, you can't win. It's just the way it is. And none of this is going to change. His play calling is not going to change. None of it will change. The quarterback will not save you. I mean, have you not learned, like, for 40 years now, Marino couldn't save you. Marino couldn't save you. Just because you were entertained with the shiny object, Marino didn't do anything. You didn't win anything. You didn't win a damn thing, dude. So until you win at the line of scrimmages, until you have a dominant offensive line and defensive line like we used to have in the 70s, right? Because that's where all these titles come from, right? They come from the 70s. And the only thing they celebrate in the history of this franchise is the 70s because it's the only time. So you can start anybody you want. Dude, I hope they start Zach and Ewers. For the next 2 years, I hope that Tua never touches the field again. That way maybe he leaves here somewhat healthy, because if not, he's going to die here for sure, especially standing behind Jonas Savaiinaea. Next up, Steve Rowell. From the game standpoint, Washington going out of bounds. We were doomed even if they scored with that defense. From the big picture standpoint, we were doomed with McDaniel still here. But, of course, still will win 6 to 8 games. Exactly. I don't know if we'll get to 8. I doubt that. But I can see the Dolphins winning 5 or 6 games this year. I can. Because it's just so Dolphins. Next up. PNW Bull, give Herbert his credit for breaking out of this sack. He's a strong dude, won the game for his team. Phillips has got to make that tackle, bro. Got to make that tackle. I'm not giving Herbert any credit. I'm giving Phillips all the blame. Dude, Jalen Phillips has got to start being held his feet to the fire. You're a first-round pick. You've missed a lot of games, dude. You're here to make some plays. You were playing against a shitty offensive line. You had your chance to make the impactful play of the game, and you didn't. You shit the bed. I'm blaming it all. I'm not letting Jalen Phillips off the hook already. I'm not letting any Jalen off, Waddle or Phillips. And I'm glad Waddle got his shit back together again. But guess what, Waddle? You know how you get your shit back together again? you play the way you're supposed to play every damn week, bro. Enough with your stupid ass brain farts. I'm so tired. Jalen Waddle is a nice young man, and he plays like a nice young man on the field. Brother, pick up some balls. Pick up some fire. You've got to be the number one guy. Stop being a soft-ass fool out there on the goddamn field. I'm so tired of nice-ass Jalen Waddle, bro. Let's go, dude. Be a dog. Stop it already, bro. What are you? Some little kid that is worried about his video game or something tonight? You need to play or something? This is your damn job. Do your damn job, Jalen Waddle. Why is it that all the time there's brain fart after brain fart after brain fart? And you had two of them today, and you got lucky you hung on to the other one because your back was on the damn field and the ball landed on you. Jesus, dude. So sick and tired of the Jalens, Waddle and Phillips. Wake the hell up already. That's the problem with this organization, dude. It's a soft-ass organization, and we're not actually putting the feet to the fire. I don't want to hear about your injuries anymore, Jalen Waddle or Jalen Phillips. I don't want to hear about you not making a goddamn play. I want to see you making plays. That's what I want to see. I don't want to be here after the game talking about that the Jalens are the main reasons why you lost the damn game. Because Phillips and Waddle, once again in a position to make plays, failed and screwed their teams. One led to an interception to points, and the other one missed the key, the most important sack maybe of the game, because he had another down. So everybody is sucking ass here. All right, from the head coach to the quarterback to the defense, everybody. Everybody's a disgrace, and everybody will play bad. That's why, with all due respect out there, okay, Zach Wilson or what's the slapdick at number 3 here that I actually like him better than Zach Wilson? None of them are saving you behind these idiots. Okay? So if Waddle's going to play like Waddle does, because, by the way, let's also now do this with Jalen Waddle. This is what he does now. This is who Jalen Waddle is. Jalen Waddle is a constant screw-up. Okay? This is who he is. That's who he's become the last couple of years around Tyreek Hill. A constant screw-up. A soft player. And Jalen Phillips is a guy that's not dependable. Super talented, super gifted, not dependable. Doesn't make enough plays, doesn't stay on the field long enough. Those are the facts. This guy wants to get paid at the end of the year or tagged or whatever. Get the hell out of here, dude. No. I pay you because you make plays. If you don't make plays, then that's it. So nobody, Zach Wilson, nobody saving you here, bro. Nobody's saving you here. Nobody's saving you with that terrible coach. Nobody. That's just the facts. So you can cry for another quarterback, but all you're doing is sending a sacrificial lamb to get killed is what you're doing. Behind that offensive line and that stupid coach on the sidelines, there's not a quarterback that survives. Not one of them. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Next up. Oh, yeah. What do you got, Sean?
Tua was at the press conference, and he said something that was kind of very interesting.
Okay.
He says, we have guys showing up to player-only meetings late. and guys not showing up to player meetings at all. Sounds like we're good, right? We're back where we were last year, right?
That's a quarterback can never win with this environment. And that environment is on the coach. So you have a players only meeting and some players don't show up. Why? Because like I told you, I mean, who gives a crap about a players only meeting after week 1? You know you're a fraudulent team. By the way, this is not anything new. This is like, it was pretty obvious you were going to be a bad team if you look at the way this team was constructed. Oh,
hey,
God. Yes.
I don't know. I think what they do is they have the and I don't know if every team does this, but apparently they do their position meetings players only as well, aside from the coaches too, because they said this week that sometimes during the players only meetings they have the coaches come in.
Yeah.
So apparently people are not showing up to those. I guess that's what they're
exactly. Who's going to air grievances in front of a coach? So that's why you have a players only meeting, because you're airing out problems within your team. And then sometimes you're going to talk bad about some coaches because they're not doing their job. And boy, we got our share of that. Deep Gwyn, thank you, sir. Appreciate you for the love on Venmo. Thank you. Let's go to the super chat, sir. William Quigley, thank you, sir. And we will have our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game coming up for you. Ross is the blame here. He should have made the change at the end of last year. I agree, but he gave him the stupid extension. As the owner, it's his product, and the fans don't deserve the product that he put on the field. I agree. I would have William, I wanted him fired after the Colts game last year. I wanted to fire him then and go after Vrabel. Okay? And they hung on to him. And not only did they hang on to him, they did a Joe Philbin. So this is the second time he extends a coach for no reason at all. And Ross proves that he is good enough if you keep him in that, 8, 9, 10, 11 range and all that, and keep you on the edge of hope, or you barely get in or whatever, you're good. You're good. You know what I mean? It's this kind of disaster that he has to then obviously make a change. So he waits till it's really, really bad, when it's really obvious. It was obvious to you, William, but then again, you run an incredibly successful business here in South Florida, that covers Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. So you can kind of see shit coming ahead of time. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. He doesn't have big picture because he's not a real football fan. A real football fan already saw how fraudulent Mike McDaniel was last year. That team last year should have won 3 to 5 more games than it currently won. Today, they are 1-5, and you guys would say they should have won a few more games. Based on the talent they have, they still should have won a few more games, and they don't. And that's because of the coach. So the fact that he doesn't want to make the change, you are 1,000% correct. It's the owner. The owner doesn't see. And the strange part I find about all of this is when they talk about the coach, all they do is get quotes from the top. They don't ask the general manager, which I thought he was the one in charge. There's some there, man. Thank you, William. Appreciate it for the super chat. Next up, it is Humble Legend. Says Finn's defenders make tackles the same way I fight in my dreams. Always get so close, but too weak to land a punch. It's bad, Humble Legend. It is bad. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. No doubt, Finns are back in the tank. Keep everyone for now. I guess, but it's so demoralizing to have McDaniel as a coach, as a representative of your team, going to the podium several times a week. I have to do this job for a living. Okay? This forces me to have to listen to this man several times a week. It is brutal, dude. Brutal to listen to this man. Next up. Terrible. Yes, sir.
Mike McDaniel apparently did make it to the podium.
Unfortunately. All right, next up, it is Tim Andrew. Regardless of whether you think benching Tua will win games, what do you think the percentage chance they do it? He needs to reflect on his play. I don't know. He gave you a chance to win today, didn't he? You ended up having a chance to win, right? He brought you back, gave you the lead. So I don't know. Who else is going to do that on this team? They're not going to bench the guy that they're paying $50 million to. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, once you're out of the playoffs and, which you already are, of course, but, a few more games down the line, 5-6 games, and there's a couple games left, and they can throw out the young guys just to see them, throw out the young guy for a couple of games and see what the hell he can do. But this is a terrible situation for a young quarterback. A veteran quarterback, it's tough enough. A young quarterback, this is suicide for him. Next up, it is Toxic Fart. Big O, I'm trying to type this, but my screen is covered by tears. I know it's tough. It's tough. It is, it's hard, man. Next up, thank you, Toxic Fart. Appreciate you. Andrew Watson, you just inspired the walk around the house with my balls out. Bumblebee tuna. The Dolphins need more moose knuckle in the trenches. Big O, who's got the biggest moose knuckles in Finn's history? Let's see. Chuck Klingbeil. I'm going to go with Larry Zonka. I'm going to go with Darryl Gardner. That was a mammoth man. What a shame that he didn't have the motor. Because if he had a constant motor, he would have been amazing. There's a couple of those guys I can think of in Dolphin history that were just like big men, nasty ass dudes. All right, next up, it is Karoon. Breaking news: Ross tries to sign Harbaugh as head coach in front of McDaniel during the post-game handshake. Finns will lose first-round pick. LOL. So Dolphins probably. He probably chased him down right now and tried to get him right now before he went into the locker. Hey, Jim, you want to change your mind back out of that contract there in Los Angeles and come on over here? I could see him doing something like that. Next up, man of 1,005 holds. So close, but no victory cigar. Dolphins found a way to crap the bed. Turnover by Tua. Waddle juggling passes. Defense sucks. Hashtag we suck again. Yes, we do. Next up, it is Toby Marmarino. Will be in the same position 4 years from now because Ross refuses to hire an inexperienced head coach. Smart in real estate, dumb as football owner. Toby, that's not true because we've gone that way. We hired Jimmy Johnson. We hired Saban, who was at least experienced as a head coach and had a little pro experience in Cleveland at the same time. We brought in Parcells to be like the lead guy. So once there was a proven coach in Chicago and actually even won Coach of the Year in Chicago. So they brought in the proven coach. They brought in the hot offensive coordinator, the hot defensive coordinator. They have brought in the Hall of Fame coach. All of that. Everyone. I mean, is it any better than bringing in Jimmy Johnson? Fresh off a couple of titles in Dallas? We thought we'd hit the jackpot and failed miserably. I mean, some of you, maybe you're young or something, I don't know, but you have a short-term memory, but everything's been tried in the last 30 years. Okay? So the experienced coach has been brought here. The Hall of Fame coach has been brought here. The Hall of Fame college caliber coach has been brought here. The hot offensive assistant, the hot defensive assistant. They've all been brought here, dude. That's everything has been tried and everything has failed. So don't make it sound, Toby, or any of you, like you're enlightening us or you're bringing something new to the table or whatever. It's been brought. They brought a Hall of Fame coach. Okay? They brought a Super Bowl winning coach. I don't know if you could get better than that. And it didn't work out for us. So there's a lot of short-term memory because that is brought up a lot, and somehow a bunch of you just forget about that. Go ahead. Edward Thurston Howe, Punk Natua. I think that's what it is, right? Something like that. So let's get rid of two. I think that's what he's trying to say. Next up. It is Troy Francis. Loyalty hurts, bro. Nastiest Dolphins, Tim Bowens. That's another one right there. That's another one. That's a country strong man. That's a good call. Yes, sir. Next up. That's it. We're up to date. I like it. Okay. Yes, sir. What do you got?
I don't know. Did you hear all the stuff that happened to the Colts during their pregame warmups today?
No, not at all.
All right. Their cornerback, Javarius Ward, collided with tight end Drew Ogletree when they were just doing their warmups. There weren't no pads on, no nothing. He suffered a concussion. Anthony Richardson was put on the inactive and not as the emergency third quarterback. Apparently, when he was warming up with the leg bands, one of them must have snapped and broke his orbital bone. He watched the game from the hospital, so he was not available today. During warmups, before pads even got put on, all that happened to the Colts today.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. You can also send in your questions and comments. Peter German, thank you for the love on Venmo and the generosity, sir. Thank you. He says the team is disjointed and has no cohesion. Was at the game, and McDaniel stood 15 yards away from players, never interacting and only looking at play sheet. It was look at it. It was a lifeless defense, dude. Offense. Really was. The defense didn't play well, but they were trying at least. They didn't play well. Ray, thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah, you definitely got the MVP right, my brother, because without that dude, we'd be absolutely lost, which is crazy. By the way, Bitcoin has hit 115,000 now. Crazy, huh? Crazy how it goes. Let's see. Brian Cox, badass dude, hands down. Yes, I would agree with that. Tony Marmarino on the super chat. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. I think he was just like, when he was asking me about those, big knuckle type guys, I was just thinking like those nasty linemen. Yes, sir.
So I guess Jordan Brooks was asked the question about players. He declined to comment. Mike McDaniel stepped to the podium. Of course, he's asked about it. His answer is, player-led meetings are extra, outside what I demand. It sounds like there was something on, and then Joe Shad put Tua's mind. I guess he said his mind. That's the way to lead. We've opened the air and been clear on how we hold people accountable.
Please, I don't want to hear that shit. You're not holding anybody accountable, dude. Your team all – see, here's where McDaniel is full of shit, and here's where I don't appreciate Stephen Ross. Okay, he could talk about accountability and all that kind of stuff. Well, where is it? Where is the accountability? If you're an owner, if you're Stephen Ross, aren't you asking yourself, where was Darren Waller the entire game? How come he couldn't get him involved in the second half somehow? And then you whip him out for the end of the game for the touchdown, and he's like wide open, by the way. Did you see anybody next to him during that touchdown catch? Nobody, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm going, this guy is a living, walking mismatch at this moment. You don't have – do you see any separation from players, by the way? Do you see the windows that the quarterbacks have to throw to in this offense, or quarterback does? Like, there's no separation. Guys are literally next to the defender. So you have one guy that can get separation that way and this way, and you don't use him? And where is Westbrook-Ikini? The dude caught 9 touchdowns with no quarterback at Tennessee. So why did you sign him? What is it about this coach that he can't get big players involved, and all he wants to do is use midgets? Doesn't put your team at an advantage. Doesn't put your quarterback at an advantage. Jesus, that pass to the fullback was practically a pick six because you're throwing out to an outbound to a fullback, dude. How's he going to get any separation and make the throw that it was right there? It's like the windows are so small that it makes it so much harder to run this offense. You know what? When Tua sees Waller wide open, I'm not surprised he screws that play up more often, actually. Because he's got to be shocked when somebody's wide open in this offense. It's just terrible. And look, and I'm not excusing him for his interception. That was a bad throw. It was behind. Tight coverage, and I get it. That's why you have to be absolutely perfect in this offense because of the way it's structured and the way players are. We're not seeing any separation whatsoever. It's terrible, dude. It's terrible. So it's just safe to say McDaniel has lost the locker room. I told you guys last year, okay, how many times did I say, and thank you, Brett Hans and Franz, I'm here to pump you up. I told you guys over and over last year that there were people in the building that didn't have confidence in him. I walked you through all the defections last year. People were dying to leave this place. Anybody that had an opportunity to get the hell out, they got out because they didn't believe in him whatsoever. I'm telling you this. Somehow or another, this doesn't get to the owner. Or because they had given him the new contract, they didn't want to look like idiots, which what we talked about. So they didn't want to fire him right away. So they're going to wait till they get cause. How much more do you need? When you were 0-3, you should have fired him already. They don't even have the timing when to fire people the right way. That's how incompetent Stephen Ross is. But again, he doesn't care because he's still selling his tickets. Still selling his suites, and he's going to get his TV package deals and all that kind of good stuff. You know? Crazy. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You know, we here on the show, we try to decide who is the MVP of the game. Let's go with our Murias Dental MVP of the game.
Who's last night's MVP? There's only one MVP for your family's dental care.
Moody's Dental. Get your smile back at Moody's Dental. Visit them on Instagram at moodius.dental.
Here's our Moody's Dental MVP of the night.
It could only be one person. Devon Achane is definitely the Moody's Dental MVP of the night. I have to give it to him because without him, I don't know. It's like he falls in love with somebody, and let's make the whole thing around Tyreek. Now we're making it all around Achane. And this young man had 16 rushes for 128 yards today, 8 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, and as a receiver, 4 receptions for 22 yards, 5.5 yards per catch. Devon Achane has been a steal for a 3rd-round pick. I do worry about his durability because, you know, it's kind of crazy that you would use him this much and not get others involved. But that's a whole Mike McDaniel question and a problem that I have with Mike McDaniel. But I have no problem with Murias Dental because the Murias family has been doing it for a long time. My wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law, myself, we all go there, folks. And whether it's Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, cosmetic surgery, reach out to our friends. Follow them on Instagram at Murias.dental. You can take advantage of some specials. You never know. Out there, get your smile back. Visit our friends at Murias Dental in Dade County, 305-821-0231 in Plantation, 954-692-6825. Devon Achan, clearly our Murias Dental MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by Murias Dental.
From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back, they accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams. To schedule an appointment in Dade, call 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Follow them on Instagram at Murias.dental, providing MVP smiles every day of the year.
All right. Thank you to all the folks at Murias Dental. Appreciate it. And, of course, visit our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Alan does amazing work, and whether you're buying or leasing, you can get $500 off. Use that QR code, or when you go there to buy a vehicle, tell them, hey, Big O sent me. He says I could get $500 off, and that'll get it going right there, baby, at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Let me see what we got here on Venmo. Andrew Watson. Big O, don't forget to name the new categories winner. Who was today's toxic fart shitter of the game? It's a good one. We'll just go with the Dolphins because that's kind of what they do. They kind of drop toxic ones every day on us, every week on us, every year on us. So I'll probably go with the Dolphins in general because everybody takes turns at dropping that turd on us. Jalen Phillips dropped it today on us. Tua dropped it today on us. Waddle dropped it today on us. The defense dropped it today on us. The special teams dropped it today on us. Mike McDaniel dropped it today on us. Stephen Ross dropped it today on us. So, we're like standing under pigeons being Dolphin fans. It's basically how it goes. Let's see. Ricardo Cuchican, thank you for the love on the super chat. Dear Big O, if you, me, and every damn world knows that you win with a offensive line and defensive line, how the heck no GM, this is a great show as always. Thank you. I don't know how they don't figure it out. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I don't know how it is that your priority isn't to have a bunch of fat guys on the line dominating. I don't understand it. And by the way, from the second they drafted Tua, it's one of the things that I talked about. You have to do what they did in Alabama, build a really strong line and a dedication to the running game, and then the kid can play off of play action and all of that. But if he's got to play behind this offensive line and take a beating and more surgeries and all of that, he's going to die on the vine here. And that's just kind of the way it is. I saw Archie Manning die on the vine. I saw David Carr die on the vine. I've seen good quarterbacks in bad situations. And it's kind of, and you know what? It's the good thing is lately there's been a nice wave of quarterbacks that you've realized they were in bad situations. They went to a better situation where they understood what they had to do around them and they complimented the quarterback, whatever it is. What kind of, doesn't matter who it is, if it's a Geno Smith type or if it's a Daniel Jones type, whichever one it is, a pocket guy or a runner, but you've got to compliment them, the right way. And these are things that just has not happened here all the way dating back to Dan Marino. And this is why, what can I tell you? What can I tell you that from Shula all the way till now, they haven't figured out dominant offensive line play and dominant defensive line play opens everything up for you. You don't even have to be super special on some of your skill spots. You can get away with actually being good or average. It's insane, but that's kind of the way it works out, Ricardo. George Diaz, thank you for the love on the super chat. Tua leads 2 fourth-quarter TD drives, and yet we're still talking about his interception. Defense needs to be revamped and Weaver fired. I don't blame Weaver because he has no talent. So, I get it. You're pissed at Weaver. I'm not. Last year, he was top 10 with no pass rush. And like I told everybody, the second half of the season, I think the defense will play a little better, but it'll be too late, and because he'll figure it out. But it's going to take a little bit to kind of figure everything out. And unfortunately, Miami doesn't have any time. Now, see, here's where I'm a little different than everybody else. I wasn't expecting a winning season here anyway. So, I will say this. I didn't think they would be 1-5. Okay. I knew it would be bad, but not 1-5, Sam Kavassin, thank you for the love in the super chat. Big O, I'm from Argentina. Can we ask Messi if he wants to buy the beloved Dolphins? I'm pretty sure he's smarter. I don't know about that, Sam. I disagree with you, my brother. I think Messi's a horrible general manager. He runs Inter Miami, and they choke like dogs in the first round to the worst team in the playoffs last year, Atlanta United. By the way, Messi hasn't won jack shit here. Jack shit. You were the number 1 seed last year, and you got eliminated by the worst team in the first round of the MLS playoffs. Sam, I get it. And I've been talking about this. Have I not been talking about this, Sean? Huh? This is a novelty for the Argentina community. That's what Inter Miami is. They've created a novelty for the Argentina community so they can reminisce with their players. Okay? And that's great, and that's fine. But I want you to know, Sam, just want you to know, we have to compartmentalize here, okay? What Messi has accomplished outside of the MLS, it doesn't mean shit to me, okay? I'm an Inter Miami fan. So as an Inter Miami fan, I just want you to know, I appreciate the donation, but, I'm going to trash the man here. Messi has a jack shit here, dude. He scores a lot of points, a lot of goals. He controls the team. He brings whatever friends he wants. He gets rid of young players, and he has created his own problem here. And the more athletic teams in the MLS handle them constantly. So until he wins something right now, Messi and Vinny Testaverde is slightly in front of Messi as 2 of the biggest all-time chokers in the history of South Florida sports. Remember I said South Florida sports. I don't care what you've done at PSG or Barcelona or Argentina. That don't matter to me. I'm just telling you, Sam, before you try to talk up Messi, he's a terrible general manager. An absolutely terrible general manager. The Moss brothers are paying an enormous amount of money, and they have gotten no returns. So, guess you weren't expecting that one. But I don't want anything to do with Messi, bro. Nothing to do with Messi. Until that choking dog actually shows up here in this league, I don't want to hear anything about it, because that guy gets anything and everything he wants and produces nothing. Nothing. Choke city for Messi. Choking ass dog. So get it done. And boy, these playoffs are very important for Messi, because they're going to add another year on that body. Okay? He better win this year. He better win it all. If he doesn't win it all, another huge disappointment by the Messi show. Let's see. Big O pushing Greer's propaganda to get McDaniel fired and Weaver promoted to interim head coach. Absolutely pathetic. But hey, you got to admit, it's a good plan. Pathetic on your part, but hey, I'm working on it. I'm trying to devise it, make sure it happens. It's all me. I'm controlling everything here. I'm protecting Chris Greer. I'm trying to set it all up. Man, I control the entire universe. Yep. They listen to me. Of course they listen to me. JC Clausen, agree about Messi, Big O. I mean, there's no disagreement, bro. I mean, the guy hasn't done anything here until he does something. That's what, and he has all control. He gets to bring in whoever he wants and gets rid of whoever he wants. And it's his coach, it's his GM. I mean, everything. They do everything that he wants. Nothing is done by just owner's approval. No. It's done by Messi's approval. So, get it done. I don't want to hear any more excuses over there. The best pro team in South Florida plays in Sunrise, and that's not even up for any debate. Let's see. What else do we have? Can Viola buy the Dolphins by any chance? Now, Daniel, you're talking about a real owner that knows how to use his money the right way. Vinny Viola. Man. I remember when Mickey Harrison was on a roll like that. He had that going for a while. I think all of us in whatever walk of life, you're a great salesperson, you're a great builder, you're a great manufacturer, you're whatever it is that you do, you're going to have a run. And you're going to have a run where you're going to, maybe you'll be one of the best or the best or whatever. But eventually others will catch up and then they'll pass you. And then you're not going to be the fastest man in the world or the strongest man in the world or the women's world champion in this or that or somebody who's going to pass you up. That's just kind of the way it goes. And, it's just been one of those deals. You get your window of opportunity and then it ends. It's not something that you keep going. The Patriots had it going on for a while and then it ended. Now you got to try to find another one to start it over again. Just kind of the way it goes. The gravy train doesn't last forever. Doesn't matter what it is. AZ, thank you for the love on the super chat. Game show music, what would you rather be? A Dolphins fan or a Queen from Mike McDaniel that he tries to mask as a fart? I don't know what that was a very weird text that you sent in there, AZ. But thank you. Appreciate the super chat. Either way, I'd rather be a Dolphins fan that enjoys winning for once in my life. I haven't really enjoyed real winning in a long, long time. So let's find out. Sometimes you make good decisions. Sometimes you make bad decisions in life. So what was the Sloman's key decision of the game?
What was the deciding moment? Who made the right move? Where did the game change? It's the Sloman's key decision of the game. Make the smart decision to protect your home and family by calling Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME, serving Americans for nearly 100 years. Here's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
All right. I got to tell you, look, if you're looking for landscaping, you call my guys at Cutter's Edge Pro. All right, William Quigley and Company, they know how to get it done. Landscaping, outdoor lighting, irrigation, they do it all. Artificial grass, which my dogs have loved now for 3.5 years, maybe 4 almost, but at least 3.5 years. Call Cutter's Edge Pro, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. Maintenance also is very, very helpful too. They can always clean things up for you, or you can add more trees to add more shade for your home and create more of an atmosphere for your backyard, which is a beautiful thing. So that would be a key decision in life. What was the key decision in this game? In a 29-27 loss to the Chargers, I think the key decision was Mike McDaniel. His key decision not to use Darren Waller in this game. A guy that all we heard was he had come back from this injury. He's feeling well. He's feeling good about taking on more of a load. He had a magical first half last week and all of a sudden took off the second half. And today he was basically MIA for the Dolphins the entire game until the end when he caught a touchdown. And Darren Waller, for no reason at all, ends up with 2 catches for 12 yards and 1 touchdown. And in the 1 touchdown, he was wide open. Wide open. How is it that you don't use this man? He is a mismatch. He is what every quarterback in the United States of America in the history of football needs. Tight ends are a quarterback's best friend, and Julian Hill had 3 catches to Darren Waller's 2. So you can find a way to get Julian Hill the ball 3 times for 31 yards, which, by the way, he hit both of my targets in my parlay. The 25 yards, he got 31. The 1.5 catches, he got 3. I got the Darren Waller anytime touchdown. By the way, what else did I need? Oh, guess what I was missing for my foreplay? A Jalen Phillips sack. I didn't get that. How about that? My foreplay. There you go. I just noticed it that I had all of it, and there you go. But key in this game, key in any offense, Marino used the tight end beautifully. And if he didn't have a tight end, he had a big receiver like a Jim Jensen as an H-back. Later on, he had an Arande Gadsden. These are just awesome things to have for your quarterback. Big targets. You know, when you had Randy McMichael, it was fun to have a real tight end. And Darren Waller has been playing fantastic. I can't blame Darren Waller for today. I have to blame Mike McDaniel for a key decision because Darren Waller could have been the difference in this game. If Darren Waller was more active, you might have scored more points. You might have won this game. So the key decision for you is to call call Cutter's Edge Pro and call my guy William Quigley. They know how to get it done. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Call them. Get it done there, of course. What am I saying? I'm saying Sloman's? Why am I getting mixed up with Cutter's Edge and Sloman's? Our Sloman's key decision of the game. I was talking, you know what? I got this whole thing screwed up. The Dolphins have me screwed up. We're in 14 different states. Call them. Sloman's key decision of the game. Damn it.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
I'm even screwing up my damn things because of the damn Dolphins. I don't even have my game right now. How terrible is that? I'm thinking Sloman's and I'm talking Cutter's Edge. Complete screw up. I have to redo it tomorrow. Mr. Pocket Potato says, Big O, we're not an NFL team. We are a brotherhood. A hangout contract doesn't work. Yeah, kind of like Messi and the boys. It's just a hangout. Same thing. Yeah. Basically. That's what it is. No reports out there, Sean? Nobody's like saying that they're going to fire him? Anything? Nothing? The Sun Sentinel, the future doesn't look bright at all for the Dolphins at 1-5 after another tough loss for Mike McDaniel. When did the future ever look bright? When was it ever bright? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. By the way, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, please. Smash it. Is Mike fueled by ego? I think he knows everything, or incompetence, or blind. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I said queef, not queen, Big O. Oh, okay, my bad. I misunderstood, my brother. Still kind of weird. But thank you, AZ. Appreciate you. Victoria is in the house. Oh, this is Victoria in Pensacola. How do I get Doug to understand that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time? Exactly. I agree. You just got to believe who they are. And Mike McDaniel has been telling us who he is for a while now, unfortunately. And this has screwed up the entire season after season after season. We had a nice opportunity the last couple of years with a nice window in talent, and he screwed all of that up. So that window's come and gone, and you've got to reset, and they're in the process of that now, but you can't keep going forward with this guy. You've got to find somebody else. And I know what's coming next. I know you all want to also get rid of Chris Greer and all that stuff, and you want Ross to sell and all that. But at least for now, dude, the environment sucks with this guy. I've been telling you that nobody believes in this guy. I don't understand why in the building they move forward with this. Didn't make any sense. It's crazy. By the way, I did have some fun using the Hialeah app today because I did win my bet with the Dolphins plus 4.5, plus 5.5, and plus 6.5. It didn't look good for a moment there when we were down by 10, but hey, they figured it out. And you can also get the app yourself. By the way, use that QR code right there and take advantage of it. Hey, you get some bonus stuff there when you're at the casino. So check it out too at Hialeah Park. Always giving away stuff too at Hialeah, man. Always giving away cars and trucks and gold and Bitcoin and all kinds of stuff. All right, what do we got here? What's next on the super chat? Ozzie Fisher, McDaniel ran a play right before the 2-minute warning. Just let it go to the 2-minute warning. Nope. He gave them a free timeout. 2 words. He sucks. McDaniel is just a bad head coach, period. And he constantly does stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. And it's depressing, to be quite honest. We're awaiting Chris Perkins and David Furones on the show. They are fresh in the locker room, and hopefully the boys will get it done. Coach will be fired after the season, if that. I think they'll fire him before. I think it's so bad that you've got to fire him at any point now. It makes, to keep him around for 11 more games. Yeah, that would be absolute suicide as an owner. So I think you have to make a change for the sake of a change. I'm not telling you that it's going to make a huge difference, but maybe it does something to change the locker room. And maybe you put a different coach in place to run the offense, and who knows, maybe you get better results too. I don't know. But right now, what you and I know is what they're doing makes no sense, and it's not working. So what else? Humble legend Dante Culpepper, the Wildcat, Adam Gase, Jay Cutler, college wide receiver turned QB, Belichick Patriot Way, Disciple Flores. What crap will the Finns sell me next? And I can't blame the man. Mr. Majestic, blame the owner. Exactly. Pancombiste, Greer, Old Man, Ross, Brown, Sugar. St. Michael, Greer also hired Gase and Flores. Greer didn't hire Gase, bro. St. Michael, stop with that, bro. Anybody tell you that? That's misinformation. Okay? He hired the last 2 guys. Maybe even the last guy. I'm not sure. But we'll see. All right, let's do it. Chris Perkins is ready to talk about this disaster that is the Miami Dolphins with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
All right. How you feeling, Perk? How's it going walking into the morgue now every week?
I'm feeling okay. Those guys, their feelings are going down and down and down. I will say this, and I've talked to players about this, and I've written this before, that this team does have a good fighting spirit. They never give up. They keep playing, but soon the realization is going to hit them. We're not very good. And I think that that's kind of the time that we're at right now. The lowest I've ever seen the Dolphins locker room was after that 30-27 loss at Buffalo. Worse than the playoff loss at Buffalo, worse than the playoff loss at Kansas City. That was the worst, and we're approaching this time right now because that loss in Buffalo, it just told them no matter what, we're never going to be as good as Buffalo. That feeling sank in that day. Those same feelings are going to start sinking in here very soon.
So was the game plan this week, like McDaniel says,
all right, fellas, here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to save Darren Waller all the way to the end of the game. They'll never figure it out. And then we will unleash the Kraken.
Hey, the Waller thing, they don't know any offense after Tyreek Hill. I'm telling you, they don't. It was a one-track offense, and I kept telling people it was about Tyreek. It was about Tyreek Hill and the threat of Tyreek Hill. And so you can have –
hold on a second. Now it's about Achane and the threat
of
Achane.
No. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody else can win games on that offense. Achane can't win games. He had, 150 yards from scrimmage today? Jalen Waddle can't win games. He had the 6 receptions for 95 yards. Tua can't win games. The offensive line can't win games. The defense can't win games. Special teams can't win games. Tyreek could win games. That's all they had. That's the way they built the team. They never acknowledged that. They never fixed that. They never addressed it. And this is what you see now, that without Tyreek, I mean, anybody, you shut down Darren Waller. And so, Waller was shut down for what? I mean, the last 6 quarters, he's had whatever he had today, right?
That's bad. That's bad coaching. That's not.
It's bad offense. It's bad offense, Big O. It's bad offense. You've had all offensively was Tyreek. It was just getting the ball to Tyreek, and now that Tyreek is gone, you've got no offense.
Well, but you got to adjust as a coach, and you got to play a different offense. And you got to figure out a way to move the ball. Listen, in the end, they don't dominate at the line of scrimmage. So that's how you win games, because they have enough talent to move the ball, but they don't have enough talent to move the ball under 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, they don't. They just don't have enough talent to win games because look, if Achane and Waddle are paper cuts, okay, and I mean. Tyreek was a knockout punch. Tyreek could change the whole way that the game was defended. And now you don't have him. And it's like these teams are like, we can absorb everything else that you have. You're gonna get yards, you're gonna get some points, but you're not gonna win the game. And so
today's game was more about Waddle's interception that led to points, Tua's interception that led to points.
Yep.
Jalen Phillips, by the way, he can't get any more breaks anymore, bro. You had a chance to make a game-defining play, and you let the guy go right through your hands. The special teams has an opportunity to make a game-defining play, and they start the game at the 40-yard line. It's just it's a comedy of errors constantly. That when that interception happened with Tua, that was a silly-ass offense. Achane to the right, Achane to the left, Achane in the middle. It's like there's no creativity. You're not getting anybody else involved in the offense. You're becoming very predictable. Like you were predictable about Tyreek, now you're predictable about Achane now.
Right.
It's insane.
It is. Big O, this should have been addressed after the 2022 season. They played the whole 2023 season like this, and I was writing about it, and it was like, they're doing conga lines, they're scoring 70 points, and it's like they're doing this to bad teams. Like good teams can shut them down, and now you're seeing that Mike was not that creative with the offense. That You know, I know. Look, and Aaron Brewer, God bless him, he's out there playing with one arm. I mean, if you saw him, all he could do was snap the ball with that right arm. He could not block with that right arm at all. I think he got 2 holding calls today, and that right arm is just dangling there. You know, you're down so much personnel that you need something. You've got to devise something offensively that can win games, and McDaniel's just not able to do it. It's a shame that they had so much talent in this era, and it just hasn't amounted to anything.
Yeah, and I've heard you say, which is the right point, is this team has underachieved every year under Mike McDaniel.
Every single year.
Win like already right here at 1-5. You should have at least 2 or 3 more wins. And you don't. And so it's like this every single year. And that's where, you know, I've heard you even say that a couple of years ago, this was one of the most talented teams they had in 20 years.
Yep.
And this is where I'm kind of torn with the whole front office and then the head coach stuff. And this is where the front office, I think, has kind of hurt themselves, is the coaches they got weren't the guys to maximize the talent that they brought in. And then that was, you know, one of the main dysfunctions of what's going on. Look at Akine. You bring him, the guy catches 9 touchdowns with no quarterback last year, and you can't find a way to get this guy involved in the offense. Give to a bigger target like Waller out there, like Akine out there. You know, and hell, at least Hill was involved.
Right.
You got the other tight end at least involved more than you did Waller. I was happy for that.
I just don't understand how they can just take Waller away like this. Just erase the guy to where he's not even targeted. Big O. I mean, it's crazy. And so, yeah, I just think at some point, and you know what I've said about McDaniel recently is that I think the players are always going to like Mike. I think they're always going to respect Mike, but at some point they're going to stop listening to Mike, and that might come tomorrow. You know, because everybody knows that this team, they should have won today. You should have won at Carolina. You can say what you want about New England. You probably should have won that game. You were at home. You know, you had a chance to win. And I think at a certain point, these players are just going to say, dude, this guy, everything he's telling us, it's just not working. By the way, why was Tua bringing up the team meeting thing? The players not attending team meet, like this is not the forum to bring that up. What the hell are you doing, Tua?
I think Tua is at a point where he's trying to throw enough little crumbs out there to say, this is such a screwed up situation that I'm a part of, that I just want you to know that this dysfunction runs deep. And, you know, because in a way, nobody can succeed in this kind of an environment from the quarterback down, dude. I'm sorry. It's just not the way. It's just impossible with that guy, the way he's running things. It just does not allow. And that's why.
But Tua can't bring that up right now. That it's ridiculous. Tua is so tone deaf sometimes. He just doesn't understand how these things are going to play out, how they're going to sound. It's like when he said, you know, I go home after a loss and I play with my kids and everything is okay. I know what he meant. He meant to say that I've got more to my life than football, and it's great when you can come home.
That's all of us.
Yeah,
that's all.
And he was trying to say it's great that when you have a bad day at the office, you can come home and your kids don't care. They love you because you're dad. It didn't come out that way. It doesn't sound that way. And Tua is tone deaf sometimes, and he's really got to take a step back and you know, think about time and place and messaging. This was not the time or the place to send the message of we need to have better attendance at our player-only meetings. It makes it sound like everything is unraveling and nobody gives a damn anymore.
Yeah.
This is not the place to bring that up.
I get you, but that's a defection. That's a defect that the entire organization has. The owner's not a good public speaker. Chris Greer's not a good public speaker. Yeah. McDaniel's an absolutely horrible public speaker. And Tua is also super uncomfortable in these kind of situations, which doesn't make him a good public speaker. None of these guys really know how to handle the media, to be quite honest. Okay? No. The only guy that I see out of that group that comes to the podium every week is Anthony Weaver. Anthony Weaver handles everything like a man, like a coach, like an NFL coach. He handles the media perfectly. I think he's the only guy that really can speak, properly in front of people. The rest of the guys, unfortunately, they stick their foot in their mouths. You know what I'm saying?
And
so,
Weaver, and Weaver has the most disappointing unit on the team. It's just like, boy, was I wrong about that front seven. I was totally wrong about that front seven. They're still not making plays.
Because
they're still not making plays.
But you expected too much out of a bunch of rookies in the middle.
No. I never expected anything out of the rookies. I never expected anything. Kenneth Grant and Jordan. My whole thing was, you got Sealer, and you got Chubb, and you got Phillips, and you got Chop, and you got Judon and Brooks and Dodson, and behind them, Gay and Britt. You had vets. You had proven vets, guys with skins on the wall in this league. I wasn't thinking that. I didn't know I wasn't saying Sealer was going to have a third consecutive 10-sack season, but I thought he would have 6 or 7, and Chubb and Phillips would have 6 or 7 each, and Chop would have 6 or 7, and that would be your pass rush. And I definitely thought they could stop the run. I didn't think Kamani Vidal and Rico Dowdle were going to go for 100 in back-to-back weeks on this run defense, and it wasn't based on Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips. It was based on the vets. And the vets I'm just shocked at how ineffective the vets have been on this front seven.
Yeah, because it's more about pass rush with them, whereas it's not a really good run-stopping team unless you have that other defensive tackle come through next to Sealer.
Correct.
Then it opens it up for Sealer. But unfortunately, they can scheme Sealer out of it and force the young guys to kind of stop them. And then your linebackers, I like them, but they're not good cover guys. And then you have no secondary. And I'll give Rasul credit. Today he did play well. Okay, Rasul Butler actually played well today.
Or Douglas. I've done that too.
Yeah.
Rasul Butler. You say Rasul Butler.
Yes, exactly.
I've done that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
He's done. He had a good game. I just think it's a real. I think the second half they'll play better, but it'll be too late at that point. You know what I mean? It's kind of like last year. They started slow and then it got better and better and better. And you're like, holy shit, he has no pass rush, and yet they're top 10 in scoring. So I think he'll be fine. But he was just given really just a tough deck of cards at this point.
He was given crap. I mean, the defense was neglected in the offseason. It was flat out neglected. I wrote that, and it was not received well. But they were flat out neglected. I mean, you gave them Kenneth Grant, and then a bunch of B type of guys, right? I mean, God bless, Kendall Sheffield and Mike Hilton and Rasul Butler and Jack Jones and, Ife Melifonwu and Ashton Davis, but they don't move the needle in this league. They're kind of filler guys. After you have your Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell and Christian Wilkins and those type of guys that, they're filler guys. They're not guys that you need making plays for you. But that's the hand that we was dealt. And they put so much into that offense in the off season, and it's just not showing anything. Nothing.
Yeah, it's sad. So let me ask you something. He came to the podium. I was hoping he wouldn't. Will they make a change? Are they going to just continue to keep this guy around? Because at least make a change for change's sake, because he's not the guy, and all he's going to do is pollute the place even more. Because, come on, man, this guy's not the answer. So, whether it works or not, I don't know, but try it at least.
I'm not sure that they have the answer. I think their faith in Weed might be shook a little bit. And after him, I guess you go John Embry, the tight ends coach. Again, Eric Studesville, the running backs coach, has been an interim head coach. Darrell Bevel, the quarterbacks coach, has been an interim head coach. But there's just not much there after Weaver. And the thing that with me is that you've still got to find out what you've got with this team. So as far as is Kenneth Grant worth anything? Is Jonas Savai-Naya worth anything? What can you find out about them? Yeah, but Big O, you can't go into the draft thinking, do we have a D tackle and a left guard, or you need a definitive answer. Either we screwed up with these guys, or they're going to develop.
I saw some of you guys writing about a left tackle in the offseason because Patrick Paul hadn't played much, hasn't shown much.
He was unproven. He was definitely unproven. Yeah.
Okay, so you can't jump the gun that way, dude. You can't. You get young guys, you got to give them time, whether you like it or not.
No, you got to give them this whole season. That's what I'm saying. That but you can't go into next year's draft. You have to know definitively: do we have a left guard, or do we need to draft another one? Do we have a D tackle, or do we need to get another one? That's why I wouldn't bench those guys right now. For better or for worse, you've got to let them play. And you've got to let them play. You do, and maybe in week 10 or week 8 or week 12, then you have a better idea. Okay, we need to bench them. But right now, these guys have to play. It's only 6 weeks into the season. They've still got to play a starting role and try to get their footing under them, so that going into the next draft, what do we have at this position?
Yeah, they don't. They're not playing for anything. So you got to get them and play for time. Get them playing time, and eventually get better. And even next year, you still have to assume that they will turn the corner, because you still have to fill a secondary. You got a bunch of other things that you have to take care of. You still have to draft on the offensive line and all that kind of stuff. So you got other things. You still. Whether Savanaya, gets better or not, you got to assume that he will get better at this point. And Grant too, you got to give those guys some time. Dude, Paul Soli, didn't do anything for 2 years. He was absolutely useless for 2 years. So this happens sometimes, that the light doesn't go on for guys. Chop, it was like this. We had to deal with this shit for half a season last year with Chop, and everybody wanted to cut him and all that. You got to see if you have a Liam Eichenberg or Michael Dieter situation here. That's what you need to know going into next season. I know, but we won't know that until you give them more, like a long stretch of playing time for a couple of years to really find that out. You don't really find out in their one rookie year with a terrible head coach / offensive coordinator. That's my problem. Also. That guy doesn't help their development. And that's a problem. Yeah. What do you got going on?
Well, I'm going to write tomorrow about how do they keep this thing together. It's really about the time that I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do this. That these guys, I talked to them in the locker room, and they were all, no, we have more talent, and I'm like, but you're 1-5. Like, how do you keep convincing yourself? And so that's what I'm going to write about tomorrow is what they said to that question when I said, but you're 1-5. How do you convince yourself that you're good when you're 1-5? I like this locker room, and they do fight. They do have a fighting spirit. They don't quit, but that doesn't help when you're not very good. And eventually, at 1-5, you've got to start to realize we're not very good, and our coach doesn't have the answers.
Amen.
So that's kind of where they're at.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk, and of course, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Chris, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic week. We'll catch up for another painful one next week.
Hopefully, it's not painful, Big O, but we'll definitely catch up with each other, man. See you.
All right, you got him. There you go, Chris Perkins, EJD Construction. Eric has been a proud sponsor of our program for many years now. It's like 9 years now, not just the platform, but other places. 305-433-4843. If you're looking for a custom construction, you're looking for affordability, they use shell construction in-house. That's how they keep the costs down low. So if you're looking for any custom home construction, major home remodeling, call our guys they know how to get it done at EJD Construction. Why? You want to build a second roof or second floor. You want to build out a pool. You want to build out whatever it is. Eric at EJD Construction knows how to get it done. 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. Who are you going to charge to? I don't know what that means, Jerry. Matthew says, Greer can't hit on the draft. We never keep our top picks. And the ones he finds in the middle of the draft that turn out to be good players, let them walk because they're overpaid for Hill and Tua. Yeah, it's interesting. Because, Nathan, I'm sure you were one of the ones complaining about Jonnu Smith. Well, Darren Waller is way more productive than Jonnu Smith is. And they ended up getting a draft pick, and they ended up getting saving $6 million and all of that. They didn't pay him $12 next year. Rob Hunt, I thought it was the right move because you couldn't pay a guard $20 million, but then it looked like the bad move, right? Because that's what became the market. Well, now he's out for the year with a pectoral injury. So does it become a better move now? And then the Christian Wilkins one. A lot of you out there wanted him, and then they let him go. And now he's out for the year, and that was the right move. Now the linebacker for Minnesota, my boy, that was a bad move. That was one that Andrew Van Ginkel, that one will, hurt. But some of the ones that a lot of you were complaining about, because I'm sure, Nathan, you were one of the ones complaining about Christian Wilkins. You were probably also complaining about Jonnu Smith. And it's interesting because those of you that want to pick on Greer and you have a case, I never hear you then come back and say, you know what? Greer was right about Wilkins. What happened to all those people? At least if you hate Greer and you want him fired, that's cool. That's your right. But when you bitched about not bringing back Wilkins, which you were wrong, by the way, dead wrong, and there's a shit ton of you out there that were dead wrong about Christian Wilkins and paying him. Dead wrong. But you thought you were dead right that they should have signed him. Plenty in the media did too, and they were wrong. Joe Shad still can't admit that he's wrong. He's good at pointing fingers at other people when they're wrong, but he's not really good at, taking blame. Perhaps they were right, he put. And there's no perhaps. They were right and you were wrong on that one. But it's funny how it never really gets treated equally both ways. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not telling you he's perfect. I'm not telling you that, he's made every good move and all that kind of stuff. But some of this stuff isn't followed up because, man, did I hear the complaints about Jonnu Smith. And I don't hear enough of all the people that complain. None of you have come back to actually say, that Jonnu Smith move was actually, it turned out to be a better move, that they actually took a chance on Darren Waller and it worked out. It's actually worked out better. They don't even use him enough. Typical. But what are you going to do? So, it is what it is. Greer being right about Wilkins and Jonnu and Hunt is the reason we are now 1-5. Nah. This was supposed to be a bad year. This wasn't supposed to be a good year. So that part, this was a complete reset, man. I never expected this to be a good year. I expected this to be a bad year. And hopefully, a change at coaching. Eventually, there'll be all kinds of changes. Don't worry about that. Dolphins going to Dolphins. Yes, Miami linebacker, you are correct. Yeah. This whole thing about fans speaking with their wallets, you guys never do that. They never do that for any NFL team. Miami LB. Detroit hadn't won anything for 70 years. Now, all of a sudden, they're good the last couple of years. Didn't stop people from coming, dude. You know what I mean? The Arizona Cardinals never do anything. Never. Once in a while, they'll have a decent season, and then they'll disappear for decades. People still go. Cincinnati Bengals have the cheapest owner in the business. You can't trust them to keep anybody or, make the moves. And look, it's you get with Boomer, you get with Ken Anderson once, and the team falls behind after that. You get there one time with Boomer Esiason. After that, no more. You get there one time with Joe Burrow. So every once in a while, you get lucky and you make a run. But then you can't follow it up because you can't keep the players. So this whole thing about you guys speaking with your wallets, that's a whole bunch of load of crap, dude. None of you have there's not enough. And by the way, here's the funny part. Every person that says speak with their wallets, not one of them is a season ticket holder. 99.9% of all those people talking tough, not one of them are the ones that spend money going to a stadium anyway. All right, let's get to it. The one and only David Furones in our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
There he is, fresh from the morgue. Was it all right? How was it cold? Was it quiet in the morgue?
Quiet for sure. I mean, this team is down right now. Well, I mean, it wasn't as so quiet when Tua called out his teammates for now being late and missing some of the player-only meetings. So maybe some of the issues from the past year resurfacing a little bit. Not exactly, because these are sort of like the extra player-only meetings that they're constantly doing, not part of Mike McDaniel's requirements, but still it's some of those same habits of if you're going to meet, then you decide on that time and you do it. And clearly Tua was frustrated over that. And a lot of these frustrations starting to boil over now with this team 1-5 and suffering another heartbreaking defeat.
Your thoughts? Why are they staying with Mike McDaniel in place? At least make that change. Do something. I mean, are you that Mike McDaniel is not the guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people right now feel that way. It comes down to what owner Stephen Ross wants to decide, and so he's ultimately the one that holds the cards. And we've seen it now. 3 for 3. Home games, banners are flying over Hard Rock Stadium. As much as
Are you writing that? Are you writing that Stephen Ross needs to make a change?
I'm not writing a column off of this game, so I'm not in place to go put my opinion out there. I know Chris Perkins has a column, Dave Hyde has a column for us.
You can't swing your opinion in your column like that. This is not going anywhere with them in the process.
I can tell you on this platform as you asked me. And yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it last week in Charlotte at the end of that game against the Carolina Panthers, where I was also aware Perk was going to write that, and so he was kind of the first one to say it. But as much as I like Mike McDaniel, I think a lot of people do as a person. It's just right now, this is year 4 for him, and now you're down to 1-5, suffering these home losses against other teams that you are trying to, like the Patriots, you are trying to get into the playoffs over them. At least you entered the season that way. Not so much now. The Chargers at home losing there, losing to Carolina on the road, failing to hold on to a 17-point lead. These are just crushers. Yeah. The Colts, you're competing against them too, and then you have that wasn't even a close game to open the season, which really just set the standard for what we were about to see. So obviously very hard times. And I mean, I think I've put it on record on this program. What else are you waiting for? It's not going anywhere right now.
Don't you find it strange that we're 6 weeks in and these people have more meetings than they do in Congress?
It is stunning because they meet so much apparently, because I mean this is beyond the required meetings. So I'm there thinking, how many of these meetings are there? Because then this is not the required team meetings. You already have those, but then so these are additional bonus player only meetings, which I know, we all made a big deal of them to start between weeks 1 and 2. That came out. I think these are meetings that they've been doing for a long time, whether things were going good or bad. I know Perk wrote about them last year through the good times and the bad times, but it is. I agree with you. It's mind-boggling that there is this much internal discussion, and still you have problems that show up on the field and aren't getting fixed.
Did he think that Darren Waller's like a secret weapon, so he was going to save him for the end of the game or something? Break, in case of emergency, break glass, use Waller. Like, I don't understand this, dude. I mean, you got the ball to Hill several times. Last time I checked, Waller can move just a little faster than Hill. And when I saw that touchdown, there was nobody in sight next to him. Dude, that's just bad coaching. I mean, if you use Darren Waller from the beginning, you might win this game.
Yeah. I certainly thought so. I mean, I in our prop bets file in the Sun Sentinel, he was the one I chose as my best bet to go. Oh, I lost my four game losing streak off that. So I pictured Darren Waller having a big game in this one. I thought they were going to emphasize it, go back to him after they failed to do so in the second half of the loss to Carolina, and after they had found so much success going to him through the Jets game, through the first half of the Carolina game. So I thought they would go right back to it, and then it was just a complete non-factor. Now, we did have one play down the field that then was called back due to, I think it was Abram Brewer's hold. That might have gotten him into a rhythm more so, maybe gotten the offense into a rhythm, getting him the ball. But, yeah, I was so perplexed by that. I think Darren Waller should be an immense part of this offense, especially with Tyreek Hill out. You got to go give the big fellow the ball. Yeah, it's like when Shaq joined the Heat. Give the big fellow the ball.
There's only two guys that are kind of like mismatches out there, and that's Achane out in the open field. If he's a receiver, you're screwed. Or Darren Waller, who can either get separation or has the other kind of separation on you. So I don't understand any of this, dude. None of this makes, I just told Perkins, where's Akini? Or where is the big receiver? You can't even get him involved either. And he had 9 touchdowns with no QB. These are things that are just absolutely baffling to me. That there are things that you can do in the offense to make it better for everybody, and you don't.
Yeah. Nick Westbrook-Akini, again, just one target this game. So he's still at, I believe, 4 catches on the season. So, it's just a failure to get some of your playmakers, your key playmakers, the ones you added the ball. And I thought this offense was there in tune with Darren Waller, and then it's just it didn't surface this game.
Let's talk about the Jalen's. First of all, Waddle. The constant brain farts with him. And one thing that unfortunately Waddle has proven, he is not a number one, never has been a number one, will be a number one if he can't fix these issues. And with Hill out, they really needed somebody to take over and be that guy. And yeah, he had nice stats today, but again, the drop that led to an interception. And then even the great catch that he made on that sideline, it was like, it was like a miracle catch because it landed on his chest.
Yeah, almost didn't come up with that one. He did have to – he was looking over one shoulder. He had to turn over the other shoulder, so that adds a little bit to the degree of difficulty, but then still a bobble, and then, was fortunate to come down inbounds. Obviously, his numbers would be even better if he just comes up with the first one and then doesn't have it bobble out of his hands and lead to an interception. Plus, they keep the drive going on that initial series, so – I think he has some of the qualities to be a number one. Like when he had that touchdown late in Carolina, like that felt like, okay, wide receiver one, there he is. He comes up with the big play toward the end of the game. But yeah, I mean, 95 yards this game obviously would have easily been over 100 if he just holds on to that ball. The play where he's going one way, turns around the other field, takes a whole lot of time and steps just to still have no gain. That was one. I know that's a key Mike McDaniel coaching point is to take the yards going forward, and he did not do that in that case. So I'm sure that really frustrated him.
By the way, when he cuts back across the field, at no point cut straight up, try to get a 3 or 4 and just dive forward. No, he runs all the way out of bounds where I think he ended up with a yard gain or something like
that. No gain officially.
Gain, even worse than that. It's just, he's a really nice kid, obviously, but it translates to being a soft player on the field. And that's what he looks like at times, a soft player because of the things that he does out there. It's sad.
Yeah, really. More so, I think that play. I mean, he was trying to make a play, so I see that more as like bonehead as far as just he didn't make the right decision there, more so than that. But and obviously the early play, you cannot have that as a wide receiver one. I mean, Tua was a little late. He pump faked, and he explained that he had to see through a passing lane in order, and that's why he hesitated a little bit. But Jalen Waddle was still open. It still got to him there at the hands and chest, and then obviously bobbled away. I mean, just gift wrapped it into the hands of a defender for the Chargers.
Phillips, bro. I mean, we're talking about a guy that I don't think he has a sack on the season, right? Does he have a sack on the season?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm not certain. Maybe one, maybe a half. Yeah, I'd have to look.
No sacks.
No sacks.
And today, no sacks in 6 games. And today he had an opportunity to make one of the plays of the game because obviously there was another down, but that sack and that loss would have been huge right there for the Dolphins. That's another guy that we've been waiting to kind of turn the corner. And if it's not injuries, well, we need you to make more plays, and he's not making plays.
Yeah. I mean, credit to Justin Herbert too, because that there's not a lot of quarterbacks that can stay up from an edge rusher creeping down on him, wrapping him up, and still show the strength to go get the ball out there. So great play by him, and then obviously Ladd McConkey in the open field. Dante Trader, a rookie safety, it's got to make that play. He's out on an island, open field tackle.
Does he really have to make that play? Is he good enough to make that play? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could say that he's got. If it's Minka,
an NFL player's got to make that play in that situation.
I get it, but if it's Minka, I expect him to make that. I might be disappointed.
If it's Jordan Brooks, you expect him. Yeah.
If it's Jordan Brooks, exactly. Now you're getting my drift. If it's Dante Trader, I don't know who the hell that is. I have no idea if he can make plays. So for me to demand the guy to make a play, as far as I'm concerned, you're not even good enough right now to be on the damn field. Like a lot of those people in the secondary. So it's hard for me to have that.
Yeah, I hear you. More so an indictment on the roster setup on a depleted secondary where he is having to play in vital moments. And then when you get him against a receiver like Ladd McConkey, who's one of the, he's, I don't know if I'd put him as one of the best, but he's up there and growing and a budding player in this league, then advantage McConkey in that situation. And he went ahead and won that matchup. And there was not much resistance after that. So that was the bigger thing, is just that it was a lot of open field there with the way that play was set up and the way the defense was aligned. And it ends up, that's all they needed for the winning field goal.
Yeah, I gotta blame Phillips more than anything else. You're paid to make that play. Make the damn play, dude. That's
get him down. Yeah.
You got to get him down. And see, if you look at the whole game, whether it's the way McDaniel called the game, interception was really late, and it didn't lead 8-10, so it ended up in a turnover. Then the Waddle one, Phillips can't make the play. The defense can't stop the running game. Special teams at the end of the game, Chargers are starting off at their own 40. it just piles on, one thing after another, where you just sit there and go, collectively, everybody lost this damn game.
Yeah, you can't go and put too much on the one last series because it was still Justin Herbert getting the ball back with 46 seconds at the start of the kick return. So it was something else after, but they start at the 40 with the return. Obviously, they had a 2-touchdown lead, a 13-point lead based on the defense's inability to stop the run, first and foremost, against more reserve running backs. Kimani Vidal, welcome to the show. His big coming out party, of course, against this Dolphins run defense. So he goes for 100 yards as a player who was relatively unknown. It takes 2 Charger running backs to be on IR for him to play. And even then he's in a timeshare with Hassan Haskins. So he goes off on this defense. The offense, before they scored those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, had so many empty drives, a couple of them with turnovers to lead to only having 13 points deep into the fourth quarter. So many compounding factors leading to this. So obviously you're not just going to put it on the one play at the end.
You guys writing about the empty seats? Because, I mean, the report was, well, if there's empty seats and this and that, bunch of empty seats today. Will Stephen Ross notice that his his head coach, his team was lifeless on offense? They continue to make mistakes. The stadium is booing the team. There was a lot of empty seats.
Were there?
Yeah, at least that's what it looked like to me on television. I saw a lot of blue seats, bro.
I didn't pick up on anything that was too different. Like, it wasn't at least noticeable to me. I mean, obviously, there's always those times in the game when coming out after halftime, people are slow to get back. Maybe probably early in the game, people are still tailgating or taking their time getting into the stadium from traffic and whatnot around the stadium. But I mean, definitely the boo birds I heard on several occasions through the empty drives, the third downs of Tua missing throws, whether it was an interception. I remember a high throw to Waller, another one to Waddle. Definitely you would hear the boo birds come out. So more so I heard the fans when they were booing than I'd have to look again on the TV copy as far as like empty seats. It felt like normal kind of to me, but I'll take your word. Yeah.
Deep into the first quarter or early second quarter, they tried to not show as much as much as they can. But every time you would look, wherever there was just, you saw empty seats there. It's not like there were patches, but you could see them like, in sporadically all over the place, more than normal, in other words.
You think so?
What it looked like to me from maybe people that are watching right now that are at the game tell me, Chuck Cooper says, I noticed empty seats. I don't know how many of you out there, those of you that maybe anybody went to the game, tell me if you noticed it. But like there were more empty seats than normal. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't looking out for them to notice. No, I don't know if maybe it's something you had to look for to see, or but it's certainly possible. And I find it interesting. We talked about it going into this week. I think it was us going into this week. Is that a couple of reports? It was Jeremy Fowler's this week. It was Ian Rappaport's going into the Buffalo game had mentioned exactly that, which it kind of felt like, hey, whoever was leaking that information kind of is leaving that out there, like, because fans are going to hear this, and then they're like, that is the course of action if you want to achieve your desired goal of having change in the organization. That is one action you could take. I heard you talking right before I got on how a lot of the people who talk about hit them with your wallet, show affect them in the wallets. I know a lot of people, those are the ones that are just watching at home and they only care for the 3.5 hours where they tune in on Sunday and then they go about their day and don't really care that much, but and aren't really investing to begin with. So, if sure enough, if people stop showing up, then that's where I could see the change happening as these losses pile up.
And by the way, I had talked about this because of the fiscal reset that you've had this year, and for sure you're going to make a coaching change next year. Okay, whether you make a general manager change or anything else, that's a whole other conversation we'll get into. But for sure, you're making a coaching change for next year. That means new coaches, new schemes, and really you're going to add more young players next year on top of the young players that you already have. I can already tell you that going into next year, you're probably not looking at a playoff type year. You're probably looking at another transition like year is what you're headed for. So that's the part that's kind of screwed up, that you really can't sell a lot of hope in W's really down the line because you're going to be in such a transition.
Yeah, you're not going to see the immediate results. Then you would be selling people on the new rebuild, that it's from the top down. I've always said if anyone goes down, they go down together. So that would be between GM Chris Greer, between Coach Mike McDaniel, and then by way of that, then they would be looking for a new quarterback. I don't know if there would be one more year of Tua in the transition based on the contract, but you would be looking,
right? They got to pay him anyway. They got no choice.
Right. So you pay it out, move on. I know we've seen the Russell Wilson deal. Denver get rid of that contract once they went ahead with that. So yeah, I mean there's ways you could maneuver going forward, but you wouldn't be expecting any immediate results. It would now be selling fans on the next rebuild, and that would probably mean another couple or 3 years of more seasons without a playoff win. So you would be extending that playoff drought close to the 30 range at that point once you do decide to rebuild.
I didn't think McDaniel will make it past week 10. I still don't think he'll make it. I thought maybe the window for a Buffalo game that they would fire him, and they didn't. Your last question here. Do you think McDaniel survives this week and continues to be the coach moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think it would happen this week. Because we hear all this patience talk, so I don't think Ross would want to be the first one to let someone go in the season. We know Mike McDaniel is the one that's been leading. He's the leader in the clubhouse of all the betting odds as far as first one fired. I mean, it started the season that way, and there has been nothing this season to alleviate that. So at 1-5, you start to feel that. I mean, I'm prepared for it as a journalist. I am prepared. I have been for the 0-3. At Buffalo, last loss, I was just like, all right, let me make sure I've got my ducks in a row in case it happens. I would say it's more like I would favor that he's still around. He was still talking like a coach that's still going to be leading this team beyond this week. So, but every loss, you're just getting a little closer. I said going into this one, I think it's going to be either the next blowout loss or loss to a bad team, which I would categorize Cleveland, the next opponent, the Browns, on the road as one of those. So then really look out if you get to 1-6 losing to the Browns, then I would really be on the lookout at that point, like heavy high alert.
Yeah, Carolina's pretty bad to lose to, bro. So that's pretty shitty to lose.
Although, now hold on, they beat the Cowboys today. I saw, and Rico Dowdle went off again, right?
Yeah. Well, he against his former team, but
that's right, revenge game.
Yeah, you're up by 17, but it also shows that the coach on the other side usually every week is better than the coach that's on this side. Unfortunately, it's kind of the way it looks. That whoever the Dolphins are facing, they're out-coached already from the get-go. I mean,
when you lose one of Dave Canales, who is a young coach that's trying to move his way up, then that's what Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, you're going to favor him this week. So, he got Aaron Glenn.
All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ catch his work at the South Florida Sentinel. David, have a fantastic week. We will catch up later in the week, my brother.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you. Welton Rayom. We love talking about Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. If you're dealing, unfortunately, with bankruptcy, which, credit card debt has gone to an all-time high. Car repos are at an all-time high. Delinquency in car payments. So a lot of people are dealing with a lot of of fiscal issues because, things are out of control. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. They can help you out if you're dealing with any of these issues. Okay? Call them 954-966-4646. The consultation's completely free. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, they will get it done way better than any tackles in the NFL. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Right. Well, the good news is that Bitcoin's over 115,000. That's good news. That's one team that never lets me down, right? Never lets me down. All right, let's try it again. Let's get to our key decision of the game.
What was the deciding moment? Who made the right move? Where did the game change? It's the Sloman's key decision of the game. Make the smart decision to protect your home and family by calling Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME, serving Americans for nearly 100 years. Here's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
When you lose by 2 and you've got a difference maker like Darren Waller and you don't use him until the fourth quarter, and when you want to use him, he scores a touchdown, it proves you could have used him throughout the game. So that was your key decision of the game. The fact that the man had 2 receptions for 12 yards and a touchdown, but when you needed a touchdown, he was able to score at will and easy. You got Julian Hill the ball 3 times. He had 30 yards. I love the fact that you started to get the tight ends involved, but you got to get your best tight end massively involved in the game. And ordering, of course, Sloman's Shield Link, that is a massive decision. Professional grade security monitoring with cutting edge smart home automation. You can now lock the doors, adjust the thermostat, switch the lights on or off, view the live camera feed, and even create an automated routine all from a single dashboard. Do it. Sloman's Shield Link. Order it now. 1-800-ALARM-ME. And when you run an offense and you have an impactful tight end like Darren Waller, you don't save him till the end of the game like it's only 1 or 2 shots left. You use him throughout the game to make life easy for your offense, so it opens it up for everybody else because he's a guy you got to double. They don't have a lot of players you can double anymore. Tyreek, you'd have to double. Darren Waller's a guy that you can throw to when he's covered. Oh, and by the way, if you watch the rest of the Dolphin receivers, they get no separation. Darren Waller finds a way to get separation. Your key decision of the game was a stupid one by Mike McDaniel by not using Darren Waller, and that's why you lost 29-27. That was your Sloman's key decision of the game.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. I can't believe you can be that stupid. This is a stupid man that we have running this team, is what it is. By the way, is there a super chat I haven't gotten to or anything there, Sean? I just want to make sure I didn't, because I was doing, okay. Bag on head. Big O, you were right. I was wrong. The game was very close. I said you were smoking something. Apologies. I was wrong. I thought they could win today. I really did, but I love the points today. I love the points. And I told you I was going to wait for the live line. And I took it plus 4.5. I took it plus 5.5, and I took it plus 6.5. I made good money on the Dolphins today, actually. Okay? You know my rule. I don't root against them, and I don't bet against them either. Okay? So just rather, I'm rooting for them to win, hoping that they win. They didn't get to win, but they lost close enough that I ended up winning all my bets. And it was beautiful. And let me tell you, if they use Darren Waller, I think they win. Really. Any other ones? Dino94, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. I think the office wants to tank again like they tried with Flo, but this time the head coach doesn't know. I mean, you could be right. A lot of you have said that. They're like, hey, we got the right guy now to just tank. But this is not the year where you're going to get a number one quarterback that you're guaranteed of, like, at least it doesn't look like it. I don't know. J-Town, thank you. Lofi, thank you. Will Heidman, thank you, sir. Should have had drafted Scatterboo. Scatterboo's fun. That won't last long. That's, some of you might be a little young, but in football, you don't last long playing that kind of football. That'll last really short. It's very Christian Okoye, all that kind of stuff. It's fun, but it's not going to last very long. By the way, you have to be committed to the run, which is not something that we are. So it doesn't matter. You could be committed to having big receivers and big tight ends, but if the idiot doesn't use them, what are you going to do? I can't imagine being a GM that you provided the tight end and you provided the big receiver and then he doesn't use it. And this happens over and over again. It's crazy. Ricardo says, you notice the Dolphins have the worst rush defense in the league, and he gives them an excuse. Yeah, it's an easy defense to attack. Run and short passes, and you limit that pass rush, and it's over. And they can't stop the run with those young defensive tackles. It is what it is, bro. It's easier to scheme double sealer, move them out of the way, wall them off like they do sometimes, and then they run right behind them, right there, right up the gut, right next to the other tackle, and the D tackle. It's like watching Jonah. Jonah's playing, and he is lost, dude. Lost. It's like this is a big learning curve for him, going from right to left. Who knows? Jonah may end up failing and may have to end up going to the right guard again. And maybe he will thrive there. Some guys only thrive on one side or the other. Some guys are super talented and they can excel on both sides. But these are things that we will never know about Jonah until he plays a certain amount of time. And that's the part that sucks, that you're going to have to deal with all the growing pains from all these young guys. Really hurts. Hit the like button, folks. Don't forget about that. Let's see. What else do we have here? David VH, I see. No doubt. Take a little trip with me. Who else I see here? Why? Simple name. What else? Let me see. Let me get to the freshest stuff here. Jamie Zorria, Big O, McDaniel's clock management was horrendous at the end of the game. It started with running a play just before the 2-minute warning. The Chargers' last possession should have never happened. It's just, he's a stupid coach, bro. What do you want me to tell you? He's just not a good coach. Never has been. Big O, it should have been a 2-point conversion after scoring the second TD to watch for the Chargers field goal scenario like it happened. McD is way behind on the... No, but they lost by 2 points, so it would have been 28-29. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So you get the extra point, you only get 1 more point, not 2 more points. So that doesn't really matter. So let's see, what else do we have? We have Tua will never win a playoff game. No, he's and Thomas, the Dolphins don't win playoff games. Why do you think it's a Tua thing? What are you talking about, dude? That's what I love about some of you guys. Like, nobody wins here. Nobody's ever won here. You don't win anything here at all. So I'm not exactly sure what you guys are talking about. It's like it's like you act like your shit doesn't stink and your team was always good and always has these great quarterbacks and all that, and you don't. and you never win anything. We never win anything. Rarely go to the playoffs, and when you do, you embarrass yourselves. So I'm not exactly sure what any of you are talking about. Yeah, Tack loves art. Blind ass fan alert. Give it to them. Go ahead, Sean. Light it up.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Yep, Tua will never win a playoff game because all the other quarterbacks, all they do is win playoff games here. Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. Let's get. Listen, I'm with all the Tua haters. Okay, I can't wait for him to leave, and I hope he preserves himself as much as possible through next year because we're stuck with him for next year. But don't worry, folks. When Tua's gone, we will get the next quarterback. Will be a great one, like all the other ones we've had before Tua. So that's the beauty for you all out there. You don't have to worry. Tua will be gone either this year or next year, right? Either they injure him to the point that he's done, or next year he's gone or he's injured to the point that he's done. But eventually he'll be gone, and then we can move on. And dude, I can't wait for our next quarterback. It's going to be awesome, right? I mean, better days ahead. And that's what always happens when we make changes. It's always better days ahead. It's like the fan that says, no, I want to lose for a draft pick. Awesome, man, because the Tua, the Jake Long pick, the Deion Jordan pick, the Ronnie Brown pick, all these picks, you know, we had a top 5 pick, and they all made a difference. They all just changed the fortunes of the Dolphins for long-term purposes. You know, we won all those championships with all those teams. I'm with you guys out there, man. I can't wait for us to get rid of Tua so we could go back to all of our winning ways. And, you know, we were the home of quarterbacks here always. Tua ruined our streak of having great quarterbacks here. So I can't wait, you know. Great. Ray Diaz. There's lack of coaching. Let me tell you, Ray, I love it because we've had one great coach after another here. So I can't wait once we get rid of Mike McDaniel. We'll have another great coach here. We'll have another great quarterback, and we'll have more great seasons like we continue to have constantly. Great season after great season. So I'm with you guys. I can't wait for all the changes, you know. Big O, don't you remember all those playoff games with Chad Henne and Ryan Tannehill? Man, remember that when they were winning all those playoff games? Shit, dude. Ray Lucas. It's awesome, bro. It's fantastic. I remember Jay Fiedler going deep into the playoffs many, many times. I miss all those winning seasons and how we really produced in the playoffs, dude. I remember that. And all those great quarterbacks, dude. Yeah, Chad Pennington, man, wasn't he a monster in the playoffs? Huh? He got to the playoffs and against the Ravens, and my God, he was electrifying. Really fantastic. So I'm with you guys. I really can't wait for the changes because I know we're going to have a John Beck coming up next. Nathan, I love you, Nathan. Thank you for that. That is fantastic. Bring back a Cleo Lemon. I mean, let's go, baby. I mean, when we go for backup quarterbacks, we go for the MILF Buster, Zach Wilson. I mean, listen, it's all golden from here. You know? Can't wait for all the changes because I guarantee you we're going to go back to all the winning ways that we've had for many, many years. It's so bad here right now that I really can't take it anymore, all this losing. It really hurts. It really does. Anyway. We got to figure out who is the difference maker of the game. All right? Because William Quigley has been doing it here in South Florida for a long time. He's been a difference maker when it comes to landscaping. He's been making a difference in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. But the question is, today, in a 29-27 loss, who was the Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game?
Who brought the edge? Who changed the game? Who is our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker?
When you want to give your home or business the edge, call Cutter's Edge Pro in South Florida for all your landscape solutions.
Here's our Cutter'sEdgePro.com difference maker.
You know, when William Quigley and company come to town and they go to your place, well, they do it all. They prepare your home, your business, all kinds of landscaping, and then they sometimes it's maintenance every month, and they've got to mow the lawn. Well, that's exactly what happened today when not Gore Vidal, but Kamani Vidal, son of Gore Vidal, probably not. Anyway, he dominated like every running back that goes against the Dolphins dominates. 18 rushes, 124 yards. He only averaged a mere 6.9 yards per carry, including that 38-yard jaunt that he had. And Kamal, don't call me Gore Vidal, also had 3 catches for 14 yards and a touchdown. So Kamani Vidal was no doubt a difference maker in this game. He definitely moved the ball and helped a couple of these drives become very successful. And when you want your business, your home to take it to the next level, call my friends at Cutter's Edge Pro, William Quigley and Company. They know how to get it done, folks. Let me tell you, when it comes to artificial grass, if you have dogs, they're going to love it. Outdoor lighting, irrigation, maintenance, all of that. Please call our friends at Cutter's Edge Pro, 954-472-0622. And remember that landscaping adds to the value of your home, and it adds to the value of your business or your HOA property or anything like that. And on top of all of that, it also makes it a better living conditions. Like our backyard now, we've got so much shade. We can actually go out and hang out in the backyard. And under all that shade and that beautiful Sylvester palm, you've got like 10, 15 degrees difference, man. It's a beautiful thing. And, you get a little cool breeze going through, and it's just a little bit more palatable to be outside and hang out with the family, hang out with the dogs. So you pay for the entire house, right? And the backyard. Well, let's use it, folks. Call our friends at Cutter's Edge Pro and do exactly what Mr. Vidal did. Mow it down, baby. Kamani Vidal is our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game.
The Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker is brought to you by Cutter'sEdgePro.com, servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, malls throughout South Florida. Cutter'sEdgePro.com, providing South Floridians the edge every day of the year.
All right. By the way, we are at 15,500. Bitcoin is a pumping, baby. It's a pumping. Will we ship off Tua the same script we play for next 4 years, or we would wish Tua was here like some folks? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just can't wait for Tua to leave. I really can't, because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of arguing about it. And you know what? We're always better off with other quarterbacks anyway. So, let's move on. Let's let it go already. So I can't wait. Maybe he'll have success somewhere else. Maybe he'll flop somewhere else, whatever. But I know this. This I know for a fact. No quarterback wins anything here in the Miami Dolphins. That I know for a fact. Not this guy or anyone else. No one wins anything significant in the Miami Dolphins. So if that guy can't win anything significant, when will we? So bring on the next guy that'll take the criticism and the beating and all that good stuff. And we'll argue about that guy too for the next couple of years. Jimbo says, hey, look at the bright side. At least Ross was not the one who stole Jim from Michigan. There you go. That is the bright side. Let's see. Eric says, since the Dolphins like bringing players out of retirement, maybe they can take a stab at Mark Sanchez. I like that. Stab. Very nice. Very nice. But your problem with that one is that Mark Sanchez only likes to play in the senior league. So Mark doesn't like to play with people younger than him. Nah. He's the ringer that goes and plays, with the old people. So, by the way, Mark Sanchez has been released. Stay away from all dark alleys. I'm just saying, you never know when you'll run into a drunken, dirty Sanchez. Can't do anything about it. What else do we have here? James, Tua is the best QB I've seen here in a long time. Nah, he sucks. Get rid of him. We don't need him. We'll get another one, bro. Don't worry about it, James. We'll get another one. We'll have and we'll build it around him the right way, and he's going to win it all for us, and he'll be fantastic. I can't wait for our next quarterback. I can't wait. Brian Cox came to my uncle's funeral. He smelled like piss. Okay. Lofi, I can agree with as long as Greer Ross running the show, we are pretty screwed. Let's see. David VH says might as well have had Vidal Sassoon as the Chargers running back over the Finns. Yes. What was that? Vidal Sassoon. What was that? What was the line of Vidal Sassoon? I forgot. Damn. I'm such a TV geek and commercial geek. I could usually remember their slogans that they would have, but I remember that commercial. The fam says, I asked ChatGPT in the history of the NFL, how many GMs have kept their job 8+ seasons who without a playoff win? Answer 1, Chris Greer. Only problem is he hasn't been in charge of 8+ years. He's only been in charge, I think it's 7 now. The 4 with McDaniel, 3 with this guy. He's only been in charge 7, and he's only hired 2 GMs. I'm not exactly sure where any of you idiots get the fact that he hired Gase. Tannenbaum was in charge in those days. So anybody that is saying that is wrong. It's misinformation. Okay? Dude, if you don't like Greer, that's fine, bro. But at least be accurate about it. He's only hired 2 coaches, and he's only been fully in charge for 7 years. And I still question the Mike McDaniel hiring. I'm not sure he hired Mike McDaniel, by the way. That's all I'm saying. But we'll find out. If he gets fired in May when they make changes in personnel, then that's going to tell me that McDaniel was his guy. If he doesn't, then that means McDaniel wasn't his guy. And, you've had a meddling owner and things continue to be meddled with. Brett Dodger, Big O was Sassoon's slogan. If you don't look good, we don't look good. That's it. I kept thinking of we can make you look younger too or something, but that was Oil of Olay, which is, kind of in the same time. So I kept thinking that in my mind, and I go, no, that's Oil of Olay. That's not Sassoon. But it was kind of in the thing, and when you said it, it was like, that's it. If you don't look good, we don't look good. That's what it was. That's it. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Nathan says, I'm watching the Bucks now. As of today, Baker is the MVP. Mike Evans, big receiver, 6'5". Ugabaka, the rookie, is a terror. He's 6'2". They use Ott, the tight end. They have 2 running backs. And one of them is injured right now, the badass that they drafted in the 3rd round. So Ricard White is the other. They have a dedication to the running game, right? And they've had offensive line problems, all right? But they dedicate themselves to the run, which is something that I love. They have big targets for a short quarterback because 3 of their targets are over 6'1", which is really, really cool. Right now, they are leading the Niners 27-19. Okay? Cade Otton, the tight end, has got 4 catches for 45 yards. Igubaka has got 2 for 24. They don't even have – actually, Mike Evans doesn't even have a catch yet. How crazy is that? It's pretty awesome, dude. And they've already rushed for 84 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 16 for 84. White has 61 yards. Dude, I needed him last week to go over 50, and he didn't. But he has 61 yards, and Baker, by the way, has a rush for 15. So I love the way they run their offense. They use the big receivers, the tight end, all that kind of stuff, and they do what they're supposed to do and run an offense properly so you can give your quarterback an opportunity. But if you can't run and you can't, use your big players, that becomes – how do you keep Waller on the bench for 4 quarters? I kept watching them, and Waller's on the sidelines, and I'm why? What are you saving him for? He's 33. There's no future with Darren Waller. Use his ass. Roland Marcano says, Big O, you always make me feel better every time. I get upset with the Dolphins loss. Thank you. You're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button. Very important you guys hit the like button. Very, very important. Who has the bigger QB graveyard, Dolphins or the Browns or the Jets? It's kind of the same. Look at Baker. He was in the Browns, and now he's with the Bucs. It's all the same, isn't it? Like the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Browns. It doesn't matter. You're a QB. You will die there. You will not succeed there at all. No QB succeeds in any of these cities. It's really screwed up. Chris Z says, Big O, I said it last week. I'll say it again. This is a horse's ass of a franchise. This is what the results are. Nobody can argue with anybody that wants Ross to sell a team, fire Greer, fire McDaniel, get rid of players, Tua, whatever. I get it, dude. Nothing's working. Why would you support anything that's not working? Right? I get it. I totally get it. I may disagree with you on the Tua thing, right? But here in this situation, you're right. He's never going to succeed here. Not with the way this place is run, unfortunately. So, Big O, but yet for some reason, I think the GM, did I like Doug Peterson? Do I like the guy that won the championship last year? What's his name from Philadelphia? Panini, whatever the hell his name is, Ferrani, whatever I ask you, do you want those 2 guys as head coach? Peterson, Soriani. So you want any of those 2 guys? Because to me, they were just lucky part of those teams. And when I look at the cigar store mannequin in Tampa, I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I don't think much of him as a head coach. Yeah. Not a fan. Yeah. Todd Bowles, not a fan. Total cigar store mannequin. You can have him. I just think he's in the right place at the right time at the moment. But he's not going to win it all anyway. Brett Franz, fire Mike, keep Greer, rebuild around Tua properly. We'll see if they do that. Let's see. I'm watching the game. Mayfield was nearly sacked, broke another 3 tackles, and picked up 13 yards for a first down with his legs, then threw a laser for 50 yards for the go-ahead TD. Yeah, he's a fiery dude, bro. And he gets injured. He gets banged up. He gets concussed, he jams his shoulder, all that kind of stuff, but he will lay it all out there, man. He is a nutbag the way he plays. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you got to love the way he plays. You know? May not last long, but just find a way to get it done for now. Big O, do you only root for South Florida teams? Yes. Now, if the Jags or Tampa is playing, I will root for them as long as they're not playing the Dolphins. But I will root for them on the pro side. I don't do that for the NBA. I don't really care about the Magic or any of the other pro teams that are in, I don't know, the Rays or whatever. I don't really care about. But in football, pro football, I don't have any hatred for the Jags or the Bucks. I like them. I'm good with them, as long as they're not playing the Dolphins. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, I don't really dislike them. Yeah. Let's see. If Browns bottom out, how do you feel about a Stefanski as coach? Well, when it happens, we'll talk about it, Leo. But right now, I like him. But none of that matters until it actually happens, and that's we'll see. Time will answer all. All right, folks. I think we are out of here. We appreciate all of you out there. We thank David Furones. We thank Chris Perkins. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Locked and loaded and ready to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!